I spent 10 days in Purgatory, and this happened. I arrived at the threshold of eternity, where the veil between life and beyond grew thin. The weight of lifetimes bore down on me, and I knew this was the crossroads. Around me, the table was set, not with food or drink, but with time itself. Magdalene and Yeshua sat beside me, their eyes reflecting the infinite, my mentors, guides, luminous beings of higher realms, all present as if the universe itself had paused to witness this moment. Before them lay the vast tapestry of my existence, woven with threads of remembrance. They unraveled it gently, thread by thread, journeying back farther and farther until they reached the very beginning, before Earth, before Atlantis, before the Pleiades, even before Lyra, back to the luminous ones, back to the breath of God that had birthed me into being. I saw it all. The pain, the longing, the love, the separations, the reunions, the falling, the rising. And then the question came. Do you want to continue? I felt the finality of this choice, to move beyond the physical, to transcend, to leave behind the heaviness of human sorrow. The doors to liberation stood open, a path I had once yearned for. But now, as I stood in its doorway, I hesitated. What comes after remembrance? I asked. A voice deep and knowing spoke. Action. I saw myself in the past, forced to leave, forced to carry wisdom away to other worlds, to other planes. I had always been the love that departs, the love that releases, that lets go, the love that dissolves into the stars. But not this time. I inhaled. I felt the pulse of my own heart, the weight of my own body, felt the miracle of existence in this density. I thought of hands touching hands, of laughter ringing through the air, of beautiful eyes looking at me and me looking at them, of the way the sun feels against my skin, the senses, the gift of being here. And so, I chose. I stay. A hush fell over the space. Magdalene smiled, Yeshua's eyes softened with knowing. The luminous ones bowed their heads in reverence. I had broken the cycle. I had rewritten my story. I was no longer the love that leaves. I was the love that remains, the love that endures, the love that remembers it is God, even in the realm of men. As I step back into the world, I carry the echoes of eternity within me. The choice to stay comes with its trials, I know. The field of humanity is volatile. I know the risk, forgetting, faltering, falling back into illusion, but I also know the power of my will, the power of choice. And so every day I choose again. I choose love. I choose remembrance. I choose presence. And so I walk forward, not bound by the past, but liberated by it. I tell my story now, not as a wound, but as a revelation. Not to relieve what was, but to create what I know can be. I am here. I am the love that stays. This, what I just shared with you, is a short story telling my story, something that actually happened to me this past 10 days as I was moving through Purgatory. That's what some people refer this space or state of being when we step into our own story, into the revision of everything that we have been, not only in this lifetime, but beyond. When I was analyzing everything with my mentors, Master Yeshua, Mary Magdalene, the luminous ones, and also, there's so many, I can't tell them all because there's so many of them, but we were all in this meeting and they were showing me parts of myself, bringing everything back to my awareness so that I could see why my life has happened, why everything has unfolded exactly the way it has up to this point, from my birth until now. And in that moment, I was faced with a choice, and I knew that this was a choice point for me, which is, you remember. That's what you came here to do, to remember. That is done. Do you wish to continue? Do you wish to stay? And all I ever wanted was to know who I am, to remember who I am. My entire life. That's all I wanted. But seeing this choice point now, knowing that it is possible, and if that I choose to, that I could transcend the physical experience, made me hesitate the choice that I thought I had made long ago, which was to remember and then exit. And I was like, I love everything that I have here. I love the way I feel in this body. And this is something that I didn't feel before. I hated myself. I hated my body. I hated the human experience. But through a lot of inner work that I've been doing, I've come to love my physicality, my physical vessel, my physical experience. During these past 10 days, for about 2 days, I did a water fast. I wasn't eating anything, it was just water. And during that time, I could feel more of my essence anchoring and becoming active. I felt that part of myself died. Part of myself died. The past became conscious, and then died within me, as this part of myself that was buried beneath the fears of the past resurfaced, resuscitated, came back to life, because she was no longer under the ruins of Atlantis, under the fears of the longing and the separation from not just who she's loved, not only this lifetime but beyond this lifetime, but also from the separation that she felt when she became separated from Source. That initial separation of consciousness, I realized, was the beginning of the wound that I have of abandonment, of rejection. Because after separating from Source, I had my experience, a lot of it, a lot of experiences, but it's like I was always feeling this longing, like, there's more. I know there's more. I know my love is boundless, but why am I so afraid? I want to love, but I'm afraid that they will abandon me, because I felt abandoned by Source, even though that was my choice to expand and to experience, to be a singularity of my own universe, of my own multidimensional realities, multidimensional experience. And so it goes back not just to this lifetime, to childhood, but to the very beginning, to that initial breath, that initial exhale in which I separated from Source and became my own being. We are never separate from Source. We are never separate from God. We are God. And the way in which I have been coming back to that truth is through the embodiment of love. Because to me, God is love. And when I embrace love without having it be contained by fear or contained by judgment, I am able to walk as God walks, because God is love. And I know when people hear this, a lot of the time it's like, yeah, love, that sounds so cheesy. Like, what do you mean? What does that even mean? But love is not just something that you feel for another. It's not just romantic. Love is, there's a lot that falls under the umbrella of love. It is gratitude. It is joy. It is presence. It's peace. It's knowing. It's unity. It's oneness. It's connection. Love is everything. Even fear is love. Fear is love too. Grief is love. You are grieving love. When you are grieving someone that has left, that has passed away, or a part of yourself, you are grieving because you love, because that person, that thing showed you the love that exists within you, and you feel that the only way for you to feel that love again is to be through that person, through that thing. But the truth of the matter is that they were a mirror to show you what already exists within you. And I know when you're going through that grief, this is not something that you want to hear, but it is truth. So take your time as you go through the grieving process. Feel everything. During this past 10 days, I melted. I became a puddle, not a puddle, an ocean. Because that's all I was doing. Grieving my past. Grieving the past, the loss that I suffered, the heartbreak of Atlantis, grieving the separation with my soul family in the Pleiades, grieving the separation from God itself, from love itself. I believe that love ultimately is loss. It is grief. That's what I came to believe throughout all of these many lifetimes that I've had. And now I know that love never ceased to be, never ceased to exist, and that connection continues beyond physicality, beyond form, beyond expression. That love is formless. It is infinite, ever-flowing. And yes, that love may transform and it may become something that's different from what you remember, but it still is love. It still holds that core frequency. So yeah, that's what I've been unearthing during this past 10 days in the Purgatory. I know it sounds very dramatic, and it was very dramatic. Let me tell you, I was dramatic as fuck during this past 10 days. There was times I was like, full elation, just peace and joy and yes, liberation, love. And then there were times I was like in the floor, in fetal position, just crying my eyes out because I didn't know if I was gonna be able to feel all that grief, to hold myself enough, to be enough for myself in that moment. I didn't know if I could. And I remember I said to my mentors, to my guides, because all of them are spirit guides, are spiritually, are like energy, they're just all energy. And I remember just being with them and saying, I need something physical. I need you to show me, to give me security, to help me stabilize this energy. Show me something that proves that I'm gonna be okay if I make this choice. And every time I asked God for this answer, He showed me something. I saw, I heard the birds singing loudly, more than ever. I saw the sun shining bright, the moon shining bright. I saw just codes in the matrix appearing out of nowhere. Words of encouragement. People saying exactly what I needed to hear. Everything. God was showing me everything, and all I needed was to trust. And I trust. And now I choose to not allow my love be contained by fear. I choose love. I choose to love the person in front of me, to love the man in front of me, to love the world in front of me and beyond me, to love. And this is my story. I am going to be sharing my story in Atlantis. This is everything that happened, the separation, the loss, the grief, the love, and also what Atlantis was meant to be and what it became, and the outside forces that kind of destabilized everything, and everything went to shits. Why everything went to shits at one point. So I'm gonna be sharing that in a video this week. I have the video finally. It is done, it is complete, but I am working on prayers and guided meditations for twin flames, because this story is about love. It is the greatest love stories, the return to love. So if you resonate with the term twin flame, or you are divine feminine, divine masculine, resonate with love in general, these prayers and meditations are going to be very powerful. Those are going to be available in my website, but the episode is going to be live and free for you to watch. And I'm telling you, I went deep. There's a lot of depth and magic and memories and grief as well. So yeah, I think I'm going to leave it here. Is there anything else that I can share with you today? It's been 18 minutes. Oh my gosh. It was just gonna be like 5 minutes. Shit. I was gonna say something, but I forgot. I'm just gonna leave it here then. Okay. Bye.